Put it on your collar.
I'm waiting for a hair to grow.
Ding.
This is like the third episode, I think. Actually, the second episode in English, the fourth overall of Conversaciones Entre Humos. I know you understood that.
I did.
And today, I'm taking advantage of David Spirt, who happened to be visiting us with Alex Weghorn, who's sitting somewhere over there. Happy that he's not on camera, but he's doing a live with us later on, so that's even worse. And we're doing the David Spirt 15 minutes of tobacco history. Because you've been in the industry for a while.
Almost 20 years.
So almost 20 years, we're doing the David Spirt 30 minutes of tobacco industry history. Good to have you here, bro.
Likewise.
So David is currently with Davidoff. He's here in Puerto Rico visiting accounts, visiting us. And he's the latest victim of our Entre Humos, Conversaciones Entre Humos. Longer than a reel for Instagram. So we're doing YouTube with these ones.
Okay.
We're going landscape. So
Okay.
you can see all our handsomeness instead of going like this.
Got it.
20 years?
In the industry, over 40 smoking cigars.
You're with Davidoff now. I know before that you were with Ernesto Perez Carrillo,
Yep.
operations officer, CO, right?
Yeah, Chief Operations Officer
And before that?
with Zycar.
And before that? So you went from accessories to cigars.
Yeah, so when I joined Zycar, actually, they had a cigar line called
Really?
Havana Collection.
I think I was too young for that.
Probably. So they had a cigar line called Havana Collection. Opportunity arose for me to relocate, obviously, and also get promoted in the relocation. But my wife is also my best friend, and she didn't exactly want to relocate up to the greater New York, Philadelphia area. So when the opportunity arose to become part of Ep.4, which is today Casa Carrillo, I took that shot to come back to South Florida, Miami, which is home for me, and worked there for over 13 years.
But wait a minute, I'm doing some math in my head. 20 years. So were you in the industry for the 90s boom? You were not part of the industry.
Well, so I grew up with a father who had a corner shop in Boston, Massachusetts.
Okay.
So we had cigars there, and that was one of his businesses. So I was sort of on the sidelines, de facto part of it, but not in the industry, working in the industry. But I've been smoking cigars since 1985.
Oh, you were like 6 years old?
16 and a half. This August will be 41 years.
Cool. And then how did you end up going to Zycar, starting with them?
So I come from the world of finance, built 3 companies in the world of financial planning and asset management. When I sold the last company, I chose to work with a client of mine who did commercial lending, and I was handling securitizing his loans up to Wall Street because I knew the lingo, I knew how to do it. The 2008 mortgage crisis hit. Spent a short period of time with Williams-Sonoma running the Southeast for sales and operations.
Oh, that's right. I know you have some really good Williams-Sonoma stories.
Yeah.
We've talked about that.
Yeah, so I did that for a little while, and obviously the financial crisis caught up to the world, to luxury goods, to everything. And my wife, believe it or not, at the time said, "You love cigars. Why don't you get in the cigar business?" And I looked at her dumbfounded going, "I don't know anybody or how to get into it at all." And wouldn't you know that I happened to be looking around and talking to some recruiters, and a recruiter said to me, "Hey, I got this job that sounds just like what you're looking for." And she sent me the link, and it happened to be a job posting to be a salesperson for Zycar. So I was fed up with the world of finance. I was fed up with the stress of it. I was fed up with the lifestyle of it. So I did this, and I changed. And you know, it's true when they say the tobacco beetle bites. Yeah, it bites. It don't let go either.
Yeah, it does. It does. Well, I think, you know, the tobacco industry is extremely convoluted. And there's a lot of, it's the same thing like we all say at PCA constantly or and CRA, you can't bundle all tobacco into one thing.
No.
You have premium, you have cigarettes, you have vape, you have
Machine made,
you have retail,
Yeah.
you have on-premise C stores,
Oh, yeah.
duty free,
Liquor stores, wholesale, distribution,
right.
manufacturing, and it goes on and on.
Accessories,
Yeah. Accessories,
bags. It's a big industry.
It is.
It's a wide span of products and services that go around.
Yeah.
For me, funny enough, and I'm going to make this point because you and I had a conversation about this a while ago when we talked about your stint at Williams-Sonoma. One of the words that gets least mentioned in our industry is hospitality.
Correct.
And for us here, well, I'm glad you're back to the lounge. You saw it when this was all in shambles.
Yeah.
And now it's a almost finished product. We always discuss in depth the importance of hospitality in our spectrum of the tobacco industry, which is being a cigar lounge, being a cigar shop. Why do you think most, I'm going to put you on the spot here, what percentage of thought do you think cigar brands, premium cigar brands, give to the hospitality side of the business?
That's a good question, honestly. I would tend to think that if you take all the brands, all the premium brands, it's probably less than 10%. There are some brands that get hospitality much more so than others. I think I think if you look at the spectrum, obviously, you've been doing this for a while too, but if you look at the spectrum of brands, you have brands like ours, where we've been around as a retail store since 1911.
Right.
Then we came out with the cigar in the 60s and started becoming a brand in the 60s and the 1960s. But then you go and you take, let's say, a newer brand, something that only started maybe in the last 5 to 10 years. Right now their main focus is to get into a traditional tobacconist, traditional tobacco retail shop. So I don't think they really look at the avenue of how hospitality plays into their brand, the role of their brand in a location, and how those
because they've never had the experience of being in the hospitality side of it, maybe.
Well,
like you're saying, like Davidoff, obviously Davidoff plays in a bunch of different
correct. I mean, we have retail stores
or scenarios from
we have retail stores,
to
and we have
tobacco to
we have tobacco retail stores around the world. So we get that. We have programs specifically designed for the hospitality environment. Other companies, I don't know if they necessarily are thinking that way, because to them it's get into a tobacco shop, build your brand there, build your mark there, and if you have enough of them, you're successful. But like anything, things become eventually saturated. Stores are here today and they're gone tomorrow. Stores that have been around for 30 years in certain parts of the country, in certain parts of the world, they don't transition because the owner of that store who's been there forever ages out and there's no one else. That's it. It's the end of the line. So unless somebody new buys them, so then you have all that. The hospitality side is very interesting because you have all these different facets of hospitality. If you think about it like a diamond, there's all these different facets to it. And not everybody can see all the facets at the same time.
Yep.
So that's why I think when you start thinking not only just manufacturers, but even when you think retailers, I mean, so many shops that I've walked into in my lifetime, as a consumer, as a representative of a brand, as a chief operating officer, even with Davidoff, there's places you walk into and, if they don't know who I am, it's interesting to watch the dynamic of the shop. It's, hey, if you need any help, let me know. Huh? There's no, hi, how are you, welcome.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about the history of my store, what do I do differently? What's their elevator pitch, so to speak? That's hospitality. That's part of hospitality. That's part of hospitality.
Yeah.
The front desk is part of hospitality. If you ever get to a point where you have a humidor manager, that's hospitality. Your other sides and your other facets of what you do here all touch hospitality. And it's those that get it set themselves, in my opinion, apart from those that just, I don't want to say they're hobbyists, but they just maybe have never gotten that training, or no one's ever opened their eyes up to it. Because look, everybody in this business is here for a reason. It starts with a passion for this. They love the leaf. They truly love the lifestyle of cigars.
I think that's unquestionable. I think
nobody can argue that. Anybody who does argue that is, they don't understand this business.
No, that I completely agree with, because I don't think this is an industry. I mean, obviously there are, or have been, and will be, people that get into the industry because they, it's another business. But in this one, you need to have an interest. At least have an interest to learn more. Because it can be something that say, I like it. I think it could be a great business. But you need to start by learning this. Yeah. And then you go.
I can't think of a single retailer in my mind that views this solely as a business.
Right.
And not a passion and a lifestyle.
I think there has to be a respect to literally the person that plants the seed, ferments, works the field. That's where it starts.
It's shocking.
And then it literally ends up here.
Yeah.
And that chain, that all those links together, is what really makes this industry.
Yeah.
You can't have one without the other, and you can't see this just as a product that you buy a box and you put it there and try to sell it. If you don't understand everything that went into this, you're not going to get it.
No, and
your customers are going to see it, because if there's something that comes through to a cigar aficionado when they go to a shop or a lounge or a store, is how much the owner or whoever's working there really, really understands and cares about tobacco.
Right.
Or premium cigars. I call it tobacco.
Yeah, premium cigars. Yeah.
And the lifestyle.
Yeah.
Did you ever think you'd finish at, not finish, I'm not going to say finish, you'd be at Davidoff? When you were in finance, and then you decided, or your wife told you...
I never thought I'd be in the cigar industry when I was in finance.
But when you got into the cigar industry, did you ever think, well, if I'm going to be
one day I'll work for Davidoff?
One day I'll work for Davidoff, or...
So, ever since I've been around the industry smoking, I've gotten to know different people. I've gotten to know, different owners of brands, companies. And it's very interesting. There's a short list for me of brands that I'm like, wow, that's one I would love to work for. Davidoff was one of those. So obviously when the opportunity arose, I jumped on it. I was learning and working wholesale, stateside, not in the island here, but over there.
Yep.
And it was part of my education, which was important to me. It was interesting, but I realized very quickly it wasn't for me. It's not I don't work that way. That's very transactional. And I like to build relationships, long-term relationships, business partnerships. Mm-hmm. So I never thought, when I got into it, I was thinking, okay, how can I tie what I love to do to that? And I just couldn't find the way to make it work. And the gentleman, still a good friend of mine, he and I just agreed that, you're really good over there. Go stick with what you're really good at. So when this opportunity arose, I jumped on it right away. It's a great brand. It's a brand that I've smoked throughout my history of smoking.
Who hasn't?
Correct.
It's Davidoff.
It's Davidoff. And it's just one of those things. It's like,
well, it's Davidoff and everything else.
Well, it's not just Davidoff, but it's Davidoff plus all the brands that we have. Avo, Zeno, Camacho, Baccarat, everything that we have, you know.
You see, I haven't asked you anything about what we're smoking because I don't want to steal Alex's thunder for the live.
That's fine. Talk to Alex about it. Even though he's the Davidoff brand ambassador, but he can discuss Avo with you.
Okay.
But the reality is, yeah, you know, when you work for this organization, when you work for one of the preeminent, well-known brand names, the parent company that owns us and bought us has been around for 150 years. You know, at some point they figured it out. You know, they know how to run a business. You know, and it's been a hell of a ride. I'm going to be 1 year here soon. August 11th is my 1 year anniversary with Davidoff. So
they better give you a really good cigar.
Let's hope. They're going to say, we send you cigars every month. Pick one.
You've been calling on Puerto Rico for the better part of that year.
Correct.
What do you think?
I love Puerto Rico. I love this place.
How do you see the market here? Was it what you expected?
I was quite surprised, actually. Yeah. You know, I mean, there's definitely a big passion by the consumers that come to all the different locations around, not only just yours, but others. You know, I think there's a definite unique kind of division between the tourist culture that comes here to buy cigars versus the local culture that's here, that stays here and smokes. I think you can see that pretty quickly if you walk into a lounge who's who. But I really feel that what I'm seeing here and what I see developing here on the island is very well thought out. It's very well looked at. And one thing that I do like that I've run into is, yeah, you're all competitive, but you're all friends at the same time. You know, if somebody has a problem, you're all going to pitch in and help. You know, if somebody needs something, you know, nobody's afraid to say, okay, I got you. Let me help you out on this one. And, you know, so I think that there's a good part of that. Yet there's a healthy competition also.
Yeah.
You know, which is kind of nice to see.
Competition is always good.
Yeah, competition is always good, absolutely. But it's nice to see. That's why I said it's a healthy competition. Yeah. You know,
I think you know, the players or the you know my colleagues that are in the industry here in Puerto Rico, in the last few years, we've brought out the best in our customers, our aficionados.
Yeah.
And I think, to your point, competition has actually brought out the aficionado, and we've kind of taken them away from online. We've brought them back to the island with more places to smoke, more places to have a drink, have a cocktail and a cigar.
Yeah.
And Puerto Rico needed that. We used to have a really, really big percentage of closet smokers, like I call them, that would literally buy online and smoke at home.
Yeah.
Probably because we didn't have a lot of lounges or places to smoke, and that's changed a lot in the last 3 or 4 years. So welcome to the emerging or the renewed or the renaissance of premium cigars in Puerto Rico.
I think 5 to 10 years from now, it's going to be very interesting to see how things change in Puerto Rico, especially in the cigar lifestyle.
Yep.
You know, because I think, knowing the vision you have for some things, knowing what's going on, you've told me, other people have told me what's happening here. I think that it's going to be very interesting to see the future of the cigar lifestyle here in Puerto Rico. And I think that a lot of our, should we say, stateside brethren could learn a few things from you guys down here. So
I'm going to close at that. Thank you for the 15 minutes. I'm sure Alejandra is going to say we took more than 15. But when the conversation is good.
Well, she's sitting over there chatting anyway.
All we can say is, oye, salud y gracias.
Salud, amigo.
Y yo sé que tú hablas un poco de español.
Un poco.
Gracias, nos vemos pronto. Salud y buenos humos.